Stop before you do anything else. Before your finger scrolls past this word, as though it were just another sound in a long day, competing for your attention. I, Michael, stand beside you in mercy and solemnity to say one thing very clearly. God is saying no. But do not be afraid, because that no is not meant to deny your worth, close your calling, or cancel the future heaven has prepared. That no is being placed before the things that could pull you away from the path of light, before hasty choices, before distractions that seem small but could cause you to miss an important reminder meant specifically for this moment. Beloved child, there are moments that do not come to make you panic, but to keep you from continuing forward unconsciously. Sometimes the mercy of God does not resound as a gentle blessing, but as a powerful restraint. He says no to your haste, no to your treating lightly what is touching your heart, no to the habit of overlooking signs, simply because you have grown used to living in noise. Not because he wants to slow you down without purpose, but because there are moments when, if you know how to stop, how to listen, how to return to awareness, the entire inner direction of your life can be corrected in a way you never expected. You were not brought to this word merely to feel moved for a moment and then continue as before. There is a reason you are being held right here, not by a cold arrangement of outward life, but by a hidden movement trying to awaken your attention. On the other side of these few minutes may be a new recognition, a gentle but profound redirection, a decision you need to delay, a word you should not speak, a door you should not yet open, or a piece you dropped while chasing too many different voices. So breathe slowly. Do not scroll past the very moment sent to protect you. Do not take lightly God's no, simply because it does not come in the way you expected. There are times when he restrains you to save you from what you cannot yet see. There are times when he keeps you still so the precious thing within you is not swept into the wrong direction. And there are times when he interrupts the familiar rhythm of life just to remind you that you are still being watched over. Remain in the stillness a little longer. My child, what needs to change within you may not require much time. Only one moment of truly listening. If you receive this word with a clean heart, you will understand that God does not say no to take something good away from you, but to protect you for something better. Do not hurry away. Let this awareness place your steps back onto the path of peace. The Lord has established a very specific arrangement for you at this exact point in your journey. And it has not appeared by chance. Beloved child, I want you to listen carefully, because there are convergences in your life that were prepared long before you realized you were stepping into them. There are people, timings, resources, doors, and promptings that have not come separately as you thought. They are being drawn together by a wise hand to bring you into the exact position where God wants you to stand. And because this arrangement carries great meaning, darkness has also noticed it from very early on. The adversary does not always try to make you fall through loud, obvious, easily recognized things. Many times, it sets traps right inside your most familiar reactions. In the habit of brushing aside the sacred because you think it is too small, or withdrawing from what God is opening because you fear it is too great. It knows how to use old doubt to slow you down. It knows how to whisper that this is only coincidence, that you are imagining things, that you should return to what is safer, easier to understand, and demands less courage. And if you are not awake, you may miss a very holy invitation simply because it does not appear in the form you expected. I do not say this to sow fear into you. I say it so you may be protected through clarity. The tragedy of many who are called is not that they are defeated by one great event that everyone can see. Sometimes they are stopped by a choice so small that they do not realize they have just chosen. A defensive reaction, a hurried scroll, a moment of telling yourself it can wait until later, a silence that does not come from peace, but from avoidance, a step backward disguised as caution, when in truth it is born from the fear of entering something new. So look back at your familiar patterns with eyes that are both gentle and awake. When God places something before you, do not quickly dismiss it simply because it begins small. When a door makes you tremble and yet draws you near, do not immediately conclude that it is danger just because it requires you to leave the familiar. There are things from God that do not always make you comfortable at first, but they carry a peace deeper than fear. They do not force you, but they keep standing gently before you, waiting until you are honest enough to recognize that you are being invited higher. I am here to remind you that this arrangement needs your awareness. Do not let an old reaction decide in place of new guidance. Do not let the doubt that once protected you in a painful season become the door that locks you out of a season of restoration. Stop, breathe slowly, and ask in the stillness what within you is reacting from wisdom and what is reacting only from fear. When you can discern that, the trap loses its power, and when the trap loses its power, you will pass through this arrangement with brighter eyes, a steadier heart, and humility deep enough to recognize that God is leading you with more precision than you once understood. I want you to understand precisely that a divine arrangement is not a trap to test your worth, but a holy alignment prepared to move you into the next level of your mission. Beloved child, many times you have looked at the disruptions in your life as though they were only difficulty, delay, loss, or another trial you had to overcome. But not every pressure comes to crush you. There are circumstances arranged not to confuse you, but to move you out of a place that has become too narrow and into the place where you were meant to stand. There are people who appear at the right time, doors that close at the right time, resources that seem late but arrive at the exact moment when they can create the greatest redirection. Listen to me in peace. When God designs an arrangement, He does not sit far away to watch whether you will fail. He does not place a rough road before you just to measure whether you are worthy of love. That love does not require you to prove yourself through exhaustion. What He does is far deeper. He gathers the scattered pieces of circumstances, timing, people, words, opportunities, and resources, then places them in proper position to open a stretch of road that you could not create by your own strength. You may only see an ordinary meeting, a confusing delay, an unexpected invitation, a sudden change in plans, but from heaven's side, those may be gears fitting together in a mechanism of transition, and that transition is not always as gentle as you imagine. Sometimes it begins by pulling you out of what is familiar. Sometimes it causes you to lose the old comfort, so you will no longer cling to a seat not meant for the new season. Sometimes it brings you to a boundary where you can no longer live by the old way, react according to the old fear, or shrink yourself to fit old expectations. But do not fear that boundary. There are marked moments in your journey, moments after which you will look back and know that everything changed from there. Not because you became a stranger to yourself, but because the truer part of you was finally called out of hiding. So when you are standing in the middle of an arrangement you do not yet fully understand, do not quickly call it chaos. Look with awareness. Ask what is being aligned. What is being removed from your hands? What is being brought near to you? And what level of responsibility you are being invited to step into? I am near you in that process, not letting you get lost among the signs, and not letting you mistake transition for abandonment. What is happening may be the very turning point you will later call the place where your life shifted into a new direction, brighter, truer, and closer to what heaven prepared for you from the beginning. Divine arrangements do not always appear with a grand outward form, but their weight is revealed through what changes within you after you dare to step into them. My child, I want you to understand this deeply. There are moments that look very ordinary in the eyes of others. Only a conversation, a message, a small decision, a meeting that seems to have nothing special about it. But if you look with awareness, you will recognize that beneath that simple outer layer, a subtle arrangement is operating. Heaven often does not need to create an echo in order to lead you to the right place. Sometimes what changes your entire direction comes in a very quiet form, so that only the attentive heart can recognize it. Beloved child, the extraordinary nature of an arrangement from above does not always lie in how it begins, but in the result it opens. If you only pass over it, everything may continue in a familiar flatness, not bad enough to alarm you, but not alive enough to bring you into what was promised. But if you enter fully into what God has placed before you, your trajectory begins to shift. Another door opens from the first door. A new clarity is given through one small act of obedience. A new authority is placed upon you, not because you elevated yourself, but because you passed through the right path, prepared for the next season. That is why you need clarity. There are things you cannot receive if you only stand outside and observe. There are graces of support that are given only when you place your foot into the specific corridor the Most High has opened. And the adversary understands this very well. It does not only try to slow you down, it wants to make you miss the portion of authority given after you pass through that path. It knows that if you cross over, you will no longer be the person you were yesterday. You will carry a different steadiness, a different vision, a different peace, and a quiet strength that makes the things that once easily shook you no longer control you as before. Therefore, the trap is sometimes not outside what God is doing, but hidden inside the process of your entering it. It may come as distraction, as an attractive invitation that pulls you off course, as fear that makes you doubt the very door that is opening, or as weariness that makes you want to return to the familiar place. Michael, I'm reminding you not only to ask, does this come from God, but also to ask, within this, what is trying to pull me away from obedience? Walk slowly, but do not step back. Observe, but do not become paralyzed by indecision. Keep your heart pure, your words careful, and your eyes awake, because you are near a pathway that can lead you into a new season. And if you continue walking in peace, what has been arranged for you will not only open the way, it will place upon you a new strength to carry something noble with humility and light. You are sensing a quiet separation taking place around you, a detachment you did not choose and cannot fully explain, with ordinary reasons. I know this hurt you in the early days. People who once stood very close suddenly became farther away. Conversations that once felt natural became strained. And relationships you once thought were indispensable quietly lost their warmth. Invitations that once made you feel remembered, needed, and open to life now carry an emptiness like a room that has lost its echo. Environments that once made you feel comfortable have suddenly become narrow, not because they have changed so much, but because you have begun to expand in a different way. At first, you asked yourself where you went wrong. You replayed every word, every glance, every small moment, trying to see whether you had done something that caused others to leave. You blamed your sensitivity, doubted the way you loved, and at times even thought that if you had changed less, been less deep, and followed the inner call less, perhaps everything would have remained the same. But beloved child, I want you to hear this in peace. Not every distance is punishment, and not everyone who leaves your life is proof that you are not good enough. Some people are given to you only for a certain season. They had a role on the old stretch of road, helped you understand, helped you grow, or simply walked with you through a necessary stage. But not everyone who walked with you yesterday has been prepared to walk with you into the version rising today. When you are lifted into a new level of awareness, a new rhythm of life, a new responsibility, there will be attachments that can no longer remain in harmony. Their leaving is not always rejection, often it is a gentle arrangement. So no one is forced to remain where they no longer belong. And so you do not continue carrying connections that cannot support what is growing within you. I do not take lightly the loneliness you have felt in that process. There are very real gaps, very long evenings, moments when you look around and feel as though you are being left behind. But that loneliness does not say that you are defective, does not say that you are excluded from love, and does not say that you are going the wrong way. It is only the temporary discomfort of a process of realignment, when your life is being arranged to match what you are called to enter. Like an instrument being tuned, the sound at first may feel tense and strange, but when the adjustment is complete, it will ring more clearly. Now, this process has almost reached its point of completion. You do not need to cling to everything that is moving away, and you do not need to coldly close your heart. Be thankful for what once was. Bless those who no longer continue with you, and keep your heart soft before the new connections that will come at the right time. I am standing near you in this season of turning, not allowing you to lose what is precious, but helping you be released from what is no longer aligned. What is leaving is only making space for a deeper, cleaner, more worthy resonance with the person you are becoming. There is a deep prompting within you that refuses to live smaller than what God placed in you from the beginning. My beloved child, though there have been times when you tried to soothe yourself by saying that the present is enough, that you should be satisfied with less in order to be safe, that you should not hope too far lest you be disappointed again, something very pure within you has quietly stood up. It does not shout. It does not force. It does not make you despise your present life, but it persistently reminds you that you were not created merely to exist in a small mold. Repeat familiar days and call that shrinking peace. Do not be quick to condemn that stirring as anxiety. There is a restlessness that comes from fear, but there is also a holy restlessness that comes from a sacred calling trying to awaken you. Do not quickly call that longing greed. There is a longing that wants to seize something in order to prove itself. But there is also a longing that wants to be purified, guided, and expanded in order to serve what it was born to carry. In the quietest hours, when night has fallen and the noise has withdrawn, or in the small spaces between one task and another, you hear a very gentle reminder: there is more than this. Not to make you dissatisfied with today, but to keep you from closing the door to tomorrow. Perhaps you look around and see many people who have accepted their ceiling. They learned to live within limitation, called the abandonment of dreams, practicality, called the end of asking greater questions, maturity, and unintentionally expected you to enter the same mold so everything would be easier to understand. You once tried to do that. You once tried to lower the calling within yourself so you would be less different, less visible, less required to explain why you still believe there is something higher waiting. But every time you tried to force yourself to live as though that flame were not real, something gentle within you pulled you back toward the truth. I speak to you with mercy. That is not arrogance, if you keep your heart humble. That refusal to settle is not recklessness if you allow God to lead each step. You are not called to despise where you stand, but neither are you called to worship smallness simply because it is familiar. Be grateful for what you have, but do not confuse a stopping place with home. Care for the present, but do not bury the future that has been sown within you. What is stirring within you is your original design reminding you who you are under the gaze of God. You are allowed to grow without apologizing for longing for greater light. You are allowed to step wider without proving yourself to those who have chosen to stay still. Let me lead you with peace, purity, and gentle courage. For what God placed in you was not meant to be suffocated by enough, but to be nourished, guarded, and revealed at the right time. What I am about to say to you is not a general message, but a naming of the original part of you that you may have forgotten long ago. Beloved child, I want to bring you back to a very quiet place in memory. Not so you will mourn childhood, and not so you will return to old circumstances, but so you can recognize that a purer version of you once existed before the world began placing limits on what you were allowed to become. Before pressure weighed down your shoulders, before disappointment made you guarded, before judgments caused you to shrink yourself, there was a person within you who operated much more naturally, quickly, and openly. Remember the child you once were, not by looking at the lack, friction, or difficulty of your early years, but by looking at the inner reality you carried then. At that time, what was new did not make you heavy. It opened before you like a door. An idea could come very quickly. An image could appear whole. A story could flow through you without needing anyone's permission to imagine it. You had not yet learned to censor every emotion, had not rushed to prove that you were worthy enough, had not grown used to defending yourself before expressing. Creativity then did not need a splendid garment to be recognized. It only needed a small space, and you could turn that space into a world. I want you to understand that this sharpness has not disappeared simply because life has covered it with dust. It was hidden by responsibilities, by times of being misunderstood, by seasons when you had to live too long in self-protection. You once could sense many things at once without feeling torn in many directions, because within you, Everything still knew how to connect. Intuition, imagination, curiosity, trust, and joy did not fight for position. They moved like a clear stream, helping you see meaning before you knew how to name it. Therefore, I, Michael, remind you that the Most High is not only restoring what you lost outwardly, but also awakening the wholeness you forgot within. You do not need to become a child again to find that purity. You only need to stop treating your layers of defense as your true nature. There is a part of you that still knows how to create without fear, still knows how to receive the new with open eyes, still knows how to feel before the world taught you to doubt everything you felt. Be gentle with that part. Let it breathe again. Let clarity, softness, and courage return, not as a distant memory, but as a spring being opened within you once more. Something was taken from you during the years when you grew up, not because you were inferior, and not because the light within you grew weak, but because the world quietly dimmed the wholeness you once carried so naturally from the beginning. Beloved child, I, Michael, want you to hear this with peace. There are discoveries about human awareness that cause many people to pause, because they point to the fact that children enter life with a capacity for connection, creativity, and perception far more open than adults often imagine. When you were small, you did not split everything apart with fear, did not censor your light with 1,000 warnings, did not constantly ask whether you were allowed to see, feel, create, or step out differently. You were more naturally present, clearer, and closer to original wholeness. But then, over the years, layers of pressure began to cover you. People taught you to fit the pattern, to think in straight lines, to answer in approved ways, to hide your difference in order to be safe. The environments that shaped you did not always intend to harm you. Many times, they simply did not know how to uphold the vastness the Father had placed within you. So what once operated vividly began to shrink. Creativity was replaced by caution. Sensitivity was called too much. Deep connection was forced into silence so it would not make others uncomfortable. And gradually, you learned to live lower than your true height. I do not say this so you will grieve the past, but so you will stop blaming yourself. The distance between the person you sense within and the version you have had to show the world is not evidence that you failed. It is the trace of a long process in which your nervous system learned to protect itself by contracting, reducing, avoiding, and adapting. You did not lose your deep and beautiful nature. You only learned to cover it in order to survive in places that were not gentle enough toward what is sacred within you. Therefore, do not call that dullness destiny. Do not call that slowness your identity. Do not think the clear, strong, connected version you feel inside is only an illusion. No, my child. It is a reminder left from the original design. It is the echo of what never died, only waiting to be awakened again through healing, order, peace, and the courage to return to yourself in the Father's light. I stand beside you to remind you that what has been covered can still be opened. What has been narrowed can still be expanded. What the world once dimmed can shine again. Not through force, but through clean choices, fearing less, denying yourself less, living less according to the voices that made you small. You do not lack the sacred. You are being led back to the wholeness sown within you from the beginning. There are things you are carrying right now that this message has been placed at the right time to touch. I know you have been in a very strange season, where the pace of what is happening outwardly does not match the deep inner knowing you have about what is coming. Inside you, there is a very real call, a very clear urging, a sense that your life cannot remain forever in its present form. But when you look at the reality before you, many things have still not taken shape. Many doors have still not opened, and many results still do not match what you have believed, prayed for, prepared for, and quietly guarded. That very gap has tired you, beloved child, not because you have lost faith, and not because you have let go of hope. This weariness is far more subtle. It comes from having to continue standing between two realities, an inner reality that has heard the call, and an outer reality that is still slow, not yet reflecting what you carry. You still wake up, still walk forward, still guard your heart from bitterness, still try not to doubt what was placed within you. But maintaining faith across an extended gap has worn you down in a way others may find hard to understand. They only see your silence. But I see you holding up a promise with very hidden parts of your strength. I speak to you in mercy. The Most High, my Dar, is not standing far away, observing that gap. He is not looking at you from the outside as though your waiting were a small thing. He is right there in the in-between with you. In every day when you feel you have not arrived. In every night when you ask why what you know is true has not yet appeared. In every moment when you must choose to believe one more time, though there is not yet a sign clear enough to make your heart lighter. This gap is not a forgotten region. It is the place where your understanding is being deepened. Your endurance is being refined, and your capacity is being enlarged. So you did not find this reminder by accident. It has come not to deny the gap, and not to say you are not allowed to be tired. It has come to give you new clarity. What you are holding inside is not standing still, and what is being prepared for you is not motionless either. There are movements happening behind the curtain that your eyes cannot yet see. There are arrangements drawing closer in the rhythm of heaven, not in the impatience of human beings. Let me place my hand upon that weariness and remind you that the gap is not the end. It is the bridge being completed. You are not trapped between promise and reality. You are being led through transitional ground, where what you hold inside gradually meets what is moving toward you. Keep walking with a soft heart. Do not lose purity because time is slower than expected. What is meant for you is still coming. And when it comes, you will understand that even this gap was used to prepare you beautifully.